I never thought I'd be the guy writing one of these posts, but here I am, staring at my screen at 2:17 a.m., trying to understand how my marriage quietly slipped out of my hands. We've been together for 9 years, married for 6. On paper, nothing looked broken. We had routines, inside jokes, plans for the future. But somewhere along the way, she started feeling far away. It wasn't anything dramatic at first. Just little things. She stopped telling me about her day. Her phone was suddenly always face down, always locked, always with her, even when she went to the shower. If I asked who she was texting, she'd smile and say, "Just work," then change the subject. I wanted to believe her. I told myself this is what long marriages look like. Comfortable, quiet. But the quiet didn't feel peaceful. It felt heavy, like there was something in the room with us that neither of us wanted to name. I started replaying moments in my head, missed calls, late nights, excuses that didn't quite add up. And the worst part? I kept convincing myself I was overreacting. I didn't know yet that the truth was already sitting right in front of me. The first real crack showed up on a Tuesday. Ordinary day, nothing special. I came home early because a meeting got canceled, and for a split second, I considered texting her to let her know. I didn't. I thought it might be nice to surprise her. The apartment was quiet when I walked in. Too quiet. Her shoes were by the door, her coat on the chair. She was home. I heard her voice from the bedroom, low, careful. She was on the phone. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I swear I wasn't. But then I heard her laugh. Not the polite laugh she gives coworkers. Not the tired laugh she gives me lately. It was soft, intimate, the kind of laugh that belongs to someone who feels safe. I stood there longer than I should have. Long enough to hear her say, "I miss you too," barely above a whisper. When she noticed me in the doorway, she jumped like she'd been caught stealing. Hung up instantly, her face flushed. "Who was that?" I asked, trying to sound normal. She didn't hesitate. "That's what scared me most." "Just my sister," she said. "She doesn't have a sister." She corrected herself quickly. Too quickly. "I mean, my cousin." "You know, Sarah." I nodded, pretended to accept it, walked past her like my chest wasn't tightening. Like something inside me hadn't just shifted. That night, she was extra affectionate. Asked about my day, cooked dinner, laughed at my jokes. And somehow, that made it worse. Because it felt like guilt. After that night, I started paying attention in a way I never had before. Not in a jealous way. More like someone finally waking up. Patterns appeared everywhere once I stopped ignoring them. She began working late, 2 or 3 nights a week. Her gym bag stayed in the car, untouched, but she'd come home showered. When I asked how work was, her answers were vague. Always vague, like she was reading from a script she'd memorized just enough to get by. I tried to talk to her. Genuinely. One evening I asked if something was wrong between us. If I'd done something. She looked almost relieved, for half a second. Then the walls went back up. "You're imagining things," she said. "I'm just tired." That word again. Tired. It became her shield. Tired from work. Tired from life. Too tired to talk. Too tired to notice how lonely I was starting to feel in my own marriage. I hated myself for this part, but I started checking things. Not aggressively. Just noticing. Her phone lighting up at odd hours. Notifications turned off. Password changed. When I asked about it, she laughed and said, "You're acting paranoid." And maybe I was. But paranoia doesn't come out of nowhere. It grows in the gaps someone leaves behind. The night everything changed didn't start with suspicion. It started with me looking for a charger. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, face down, buzzing softly against the wood. I wasn't planning to look. I really wasn't. I just needed the charger, and hers was always plugged in there. The screen lit up when I picked it up. A name I didn't recognize. A message preview I couldn't ignore. I still can't stop thinking about last night. My stomach dropped so fast it felt physical, like I'd missed a step on the stairs. For a moment, everything went quiet. No thoughts, no sound, just that sentence burning into my head. I told myself there had to be an explanation. A stupid joke, a misunderstanding, anything but what it looked like. My hands were shaking when I unlocked the phone. Muscle memory. I hated that I knew the code. There were dozens of messages. Weeks worth, maybe months. I didn't read all of them, I couldn't. But I saw enough. Hotel names. Photos I wish I could erase from my brain. Conversations that sounded like two people building a secret life together. She walked into the kitchen while I was still holding the phone. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she went pale. "Give me that," she said, reaching for it. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just asked one question. "How long?" She opened her mouth, closed it, sat down like her legs had given out. And in that silence, I already knew the answer was going to hurt more than the truth itself. She didn't lie. Not anymore. She didn't even argue. "Months," she whispered. It was all I needed. My chest tightened. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to disappear. But I stayed quiet, letting the words sink in. "Why?" I asked finally. My voice was calm, but inside, everything was shattering. She looked down. "I don't know." I felt alone. "You weren't here for me like you used to be." Her honesty cut deeper than lies ever could. I needed context. My brain spun. Every argument, every cold shoulder, every quiet night replayed in my head. I remembered how I stopped asking about her day, stopped texting first, stopped noticing when she smiled less. How I stopped trying. And now, her absence wasn't sudden. It had been growing, creeping in every little moment I ignored. I wanted to rage, to throw plates, punch walls. Instead, I stared at her, trying to feel something I didn't know how to feel. Anger, betrayal, grief, all mixed together like gasoline on fire. I thought about the years, the promises. And for the first time, I realized that love alone doesn't fix a marriage. Action does. Effort does. I had given her words, not effort. Later, alone, I walked the empty apartment. The silence hit differently now. Not peaceful, not comfortable, crushing. I thought about the little things I'd missed. Her laugh fading when I didn't notice. Her eyes looking for connection I refused to give. And that's when the tears came. Quiet, unstoppable. The next morning, she left for work like nothing happened. I watched her go and felt nothing. Not love, not hope, just a hollow weight of reality. I realized I couldn't fix her. I couldn't fix the marriage alone. And maybe it wasn't my fault entirely. But it was my responsibility to fight for us. And I hadn't. Over the next few days, I replayed every memory, every conversation. I saw patterns, the excuses, my own self-absorption, the little comforts I chose over our love. The truth was brutal. I didn't lose her because she cheated. I lost her because I stopped being present. Anger slowly turned into grief. Grief turned into shame. Shame turned into clarity. I understood the moments I could have acted differently, where I could have chosen us over myself. But hindsight is cheap. Reality is expensive. And I was paying every penny in quiet solitude. Weeks passed. I rebuilt my routine, discipline, purpose, small victories. Not to win her back, not to impress her. Just to become the man I should have been when she needed me most. I started journaling, exercising, reconnecting with friends, even seeking therapy. Small steps, hard steps, but steps. We ran into each other once at a coffee shop. She smiled, light, brief, like a shadow of the past. "You've changed," she said softly. I nodded. "I hope you're happy." No bitterness, no recrimination, just a quiet acknowledgement of what we were, and what we weren't anymore. Some lessons hit hard. Love isn't enough. Effort is. Attention is. Showing up matters more than words. Some people come into your life not to stay. They come to teach you, to wake you up. And if you ignore the lessons, the cost isn't the breakup, it's losing yourself in the process. So here's what I'd tell anyone reading this. Notice the little things. Listen more than you speak. Fight for the people who love you. And never take a quiet, faithful heart for granted. Because when love leaves, it doesn't always leave loudly. It leaves slowly. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't the betrayal. It's realizing it was your own inaction that opened the door.